Well, hey crafters, I'm glad you're here. We just did a video on all of the different running stitches that are kind of the straight outliney stitches in hand embroidery. And so I'm ready for video number 2, which is going to be all of the crossover stitches, cross stitches, upright cross stitches, herringbones, chevrons, star stitches. So I'm really excited to show you these next 5. And if you want to see the first set, just go click on the link right up here at the top, and that'll take you to the video where we did these. So if you want to learn how to do those stitches, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. My needle is right here and ready, and I'm going to use another one of my DMC flosses. This is floss number 221, and it's kind of a rusty rose color. Very pretty. Okay, so our needle and thread are ready and we are ready to stitch. So the first thing we're going to do is your basic cross stitch. So a cross stitch is going to come up, and I go left to right, and when you make your stitch you come up on the bottom and go across, and then you actually come down and you make your next stitch before you cross over going back the other way. So you can make an entire row of stitches just doing half of the stitch. So once you've made the number of stitches going over in your row that you'd like to create, now you're just going to go ahead and cross the stitch. So you're going to come back down in the same position as if you were starting a new stitch, but instead of going forward, you're going to go back. So you're just going to come right up to the top and come right in the same hole where that stitch ended. Okay, I've got my next piece of thread ready. I'm using color number 598. It's kind of a beautiful aqua color. And I'm going to make an upright cross stitch. So it's very similar, except it's going to look more like plus signs instead of crosses. So with this one, you come in the middle of your row, and you go straight across, make your horizontal piece. Then you can either go from the top or the bottom, but whichever you do, you're just going to end up doing it consistently. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to finish this one as you do it. So there you have it. You have a horizontal bar and then a vertical bar, and then you come right down and you leave out of the same hole that your horizontal bar went through. So you make your half, then you make your second half, and then you just keep on going. Okay, so that is your cross stitch and then your upright cross stitch. Okay, now I've got another beautiful color here. It's color number 721, and I am doing a herringbone. So herringbone is a stitch where it starts on a bottom corner, and like the other two, it's going to have some crossover. You cross over at an angle, at about the same, about a 45-degree angle, same as a cross stitch. However, instead of going all the way back to the other corner, or going down and starting the next stitch, you come up about halfway in between and you cross over and what happens is you end up with a wide section down here and a fairly shallow crossover up here. Now that's going to all shift because now you're going to come down here and go just a little bit over, about halfway. In fact, you're actually going to be just about lined up there. And then you're going to stretch that over and make a rather long stitch. And then come back just a little. And then stretch over. So herringbone can be a little complicated because you just have to have a, I don't know, a visual idea of where you want to go with it. So again, it's going to be starting point here at stitch 1, and then an up at stitch 1, a down at 2, and then you go just a little bit over, come up at 3, and then down at 4, go just a little bit back, up at 5, down at 6, go a little bit back and go up at 7, down at 8, and that just continues. So you're crossing over at the top and the bottom fairly close to that starting point. Okay, I've got this beautiful purple color. This is number 3041, 3041. DMC, they have the most beautiful colors. So what I'm going to do with this one is the chevron stitch, and this is, think of it as 2 lines of running stitches with angles in between. So let me show you what I mean by that. You're going to come up at position number 1. And you're going to come over and down at position number 2. You're then going to come up, and you're not going to split your stitch, you're just going to come up inside of it, right in the center of that stitch. That's number 3, coming up at 3. Then you're going to come over at an angle, 4. Then you're going to come next to it, 5, 6, it's going to come down, and then 7 is going to come back and grab that top line, and 8 is going to cross over to start your next stitch. So there's 8 stitches to make that happen, and then as you repeat it, think in terms of this cross line here and these two match. This is the same row, and this one will match in the same row, and then in between you have this triangle going across, a zigzag. So we're going to come up again at 1, down at 2, and now we know exactly where that center is because we already have our end there. We come up at 3, down at 4, up at 5, down at 6, and you're going to come up at 7, down at 8. That is the chevron stitch. Well, thank you so much, crafters. I'm glad you've come along so far. We've done the series here on straight stitches, outlining stitches, and now we've done a little selection of crossover stitches. So there is more to come. I hope you'll look for the rest of the hand embroidery stitches in the series. Thanks for watching.